Hey, have you ever wondered what's actually happening behind the scenes when ChatGPT gives you information about a website? Well, buckle up, because there's something pretty fascinating going on that most people have no idea about. So here's the deal. It turns out that OpenAI's ChatGPT actually has its own web cache. And if you're thinking, wait, what does that even mean? Don't worry, I've got you covered. Let's break this down in plain English. A web cache is basically a stored copy of web pages. Think of it like a snapshot, a frozen version of a website that gets saved so it can be accessed later. Google has been doing this for years with their Cached Pages feature, where you could click a little link and see a saved version of any web page. It's incredibly useful, especially when a website goes down or changes its content. Well, now it looks like ChatGPT is doing something very similar. Here's where it gets really interesting. Researchers and folks in the search engine community noticed that ChatGPT appears to be storing and serving cached versions of web content. This was picked up by the sharp eyes over at search engine Roundtable, which, if you don't know, is one of the most reliable sources for tracking changes in search technology and how the web actually works under the hood. Now, why does this matter? Well, think about it this way. When you ask ChatGPT something about a specific website, or when it's browsing the web and pulling in information, it may actually be drawing from cached versions of those pages rather than hitting the live site in real time. That means the information could be slightly older than you'd expect, a snapshot from the past rather than what's live right now. This raises some genuinely important questions. For website owners and SEO professionals especially, this is a big deal. If ChatGPT is caching your web content, that means OpenAI is essentially storing copies of your pages on their infrastructure. Now, Google caching pages is something the internet has been comfortable with for decades, but this is a whole new player entering that space. And OpenAI isn't exactly a traditional search engine. It's an AI system that hundreds of millions of people are actively using to get answers and make decisions. There's also a privacy and copyright angle worth thinking about. If your content is being cached by ChatGPT, who controls that? Can website owners opt out? What happens if the cached version of your page contains outdated information like an old price, a changed policy, or content you've since removed? These are the kinds of questions that the tech and legal communities are going to need to wrestle with as AI systems become more deeply embedded in how we access information online. And from a user perspective, it's worth keeping in mind that what ChatGPT shows you might not always be the freshest version of the web. That cached data has a timestamp on it somewhere, and understanding that could change how much you trust certain responses, especially for anything time-sensitive. What's also fascinating here is that this discovery puts ChatGPT in a more direct competitive position with traditional search engines than ever before. It's not just answering questions anymore, it's archiving the web, indexing content, and serving it back to users. That sounds a lot like search to me. The boundary between AI assistant and search engine is blurring faster than most of us realize, and discoveries like this are proof of that. So next time you're chatting away with ChatGPT and it pulls up information about a website, just remember you might be looking at a cached echo of the internet's past rather than its present. And honestly, that should make all of us think a little harder about what AI really knows, and when it knew it.